Uh, so instantly that you even asked the question, I'm just flooded with the same tingles that I was flooded with the first time. I think it was Soraya who randomly sent me a friend request on Facebook.
Mhm.
And in obviously the coaching industry, we get Facebook invites all the time. And
It's
it's
true.
people who are trying to sell ways to build my business and this and that and the other thing. And it's all like a lot of it actually feels really icky to me. But when I got a friend request from Soraya, and before I even looked at the Facebook page, at her Facebook page, who was inviting me, I just got head to toe tingles.
Wow.
And before I even looked, I just had this impulse to message Soraya directly and say, for some reason, I just got head to toe tingles, and I'm just choosing to follow this, even though I don't know where it's going.
Welcome to Be Light to Raise Light, a space where stories are not just told, but felt, where women share the raw, powerful, and radiant journeys that shape them, so we can all rise together in truth, love, and light. Today, I am honored to sit with Sarah Grace Knutson, a self-love and inner light coach, a belief repatterning practitioner, a homeschooling mama, a musician, and a woman who carries both wisdom and wonder in equal measure. Sarah's story is one of surrender, love, loss, and profound awakening. It is a story that reminds us that grief is not the end, but an alchemy that transforms us into deeper versions of ourselves. Her journey with Feather, the unborn child who gifted her peace, is not just about loss, it is about rebirth, light, and the eternal truth that love never leaves us. This is going to be a powerful conversation. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you. This is wonderful.
Oh my goodness. First, let's start with the first question is why be light to raise light? What called you to this moment and how has being part of it touched or transformed you?
Uh, so instantly that you even asked the question, I'm just flooded with the same tingles that I was flooded with the first time. I think it was Soraya who randomly sent me a friend request on Facebook.
Mhm.
And in obviously the coaching industry, we get Facebook invites all the time. And
It's
it's
true.
people who are trying to sell ways to build my business and this and that and the other thing. And it's all like a lot of it actually feels really icky to me. But when I got a friend request from Soraya, and before I even looked at the Facebook page, at her Facebook page, who was inviting me, I just got head to toe tingles.
Wow.
And before I even looked, I just had this impulse to message Soraya directly and say, for some reason, I just got head to toe tingles, and I'm just choosing to follow this, even though I don't know where it's going. And then after sending the message, I went and looked at Soraya's Facebook page, and the very top thing on the page was calling all authors for Be Light to Raise Light. And again, the head to toe tingles. And I was like, okay, I am being called into this. And
Mhm.
I knew already that I had a powerful story to tell with the journey of, I don't even want to say the loss of Feather, because as it explains in my chapter, it doesn't feel like a loss, even though that part is in there. But the journey of carrying Feather and moving through the transformation that Feather brought me through, I knew there was a powerful story to tell there, and I didn't have any idea where that was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, these tingles are just driving me in a direction, and I was just like, okay, I'm following, and here I am.
That's amazing. It's so true. It's like when you're feeling that nudge of like, oh my God, this is it, or oh my God, I really want to be there. You feel that all over your body. It's like the excitement, that love, that energy. It's like I need to be there. I need to do it. It's your soul is calling it out. And that itself just pours so much love to this as well. Be Light to Raise Light is truly about love. It's truly about bringing moms together, a community together, and really just showering everyone's story and bringing it so big to the point where it's elevating you guys to the next level. So, so happy you're here with us because this is exactly where you need to be. And we're really excited to where this is going to go. When a book comes out, it's going to be even more epic. Can't wait. The magical of the sprinkle of magic is what I call it. The sprinkle of magic. That's what it is.
Beautiful.
Today, I talked to you a little bit about the awakening through loss. So let's talk about that. So, Sarah, your story is filled with profound moments of surrender and transformation through loss. Can you share what it was like to discover peace and light, even in the midst of such heartbreak, and how that shifted your perspective on life and motherhood?
So, thinking about this question, I realized that weaved into the story that I've written for the book are actually many moments where loss catalyzed awakening and loss led people, myself or others mentioned in the story, or the precursor to the story, where loss actually is what led into these moments of light. So I realize it's not even just um, the story of the loss of the pregnancy, it's all of the pieces leading up to that all paint that same picture. And so my entire worldview has shifted as a result of writing this piece, going through the journey that brought me to writing this piece. What it was like for me going through it was really
Mm,
transcendent of the mundane. It was like the day-to-day stuff that make up our day-to-day lives, none of it actually mattered. In those moments, what mattered most, more than anything else, was the connection that I had with my family, the connection that I had with my friends and my support group, some of whom I didn't even know very well at the time. But as
mm,
I was going through this journey, I just suddenly found myself opening up to a group of other homeschool moms, and they all just rose up and carried me through it, even just for a couple days. And I felt so loved and so supported, and like there was divinity guiding me through the journey. And it was also a tremendous, I don't want to say coming of age, that's not quite the right word, but what's the word I'm looking for? When you go through an experience that helps you become the next version of who you are and not rebirth, ah, the perfect
transformation.
one. Transformation isn't it either? It's going to come
Mm.
to me later. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it was this amazing self journey of becoming the next higher version of myself, even though it was through such a painful and
Mm,
almost like tormenting experience. And I was highly aware through the entire thing that if I closed myself off to any of it, I was going to close myself off to the magic. And that really is the lesson that I learned and that started wanting to be shared through me is that
mm,
this we tend to shy away from painful experiences and try to make the pain stop and try to distract ourselves from hurt and avoid facing the traumas that we carry from earlier in our lives. And we can't we can't do that if we want to also embrace the magic. It's a package deal. And the opening of myself to just fully be in the horrific experience, but be in it fully, allowed me to move through it with grace. And if I had been having any resistance to it whatsoever, I would have been suffering. But because I was not in resistance, because I surrendered completely to it, I was able to be shown and gifted these beautiful moments of connection and grace and love and peace. Such deep, deep, profound peace. And it just became super clear that this is a package deal. We don't get to just come here and have only joy. And if we cut ourselves off from that which is not joy, then we're cutting ourselves off from all of it.
I I just want to say to you, the words that came to my mind when you were talking is healing is not easy.
Hmm.
Okay, healing to anyone out there listening is not easy. It's a very difficult situation when you're healing. You do go through a lot of heartaches. You do go through a lot of crying. And one of the things I've also heard from you is to open up to communities, friends, and family that were around you, because you know that if you had shut down from that, then you would have shut down everything else, not just the magic, but you would have shut down everything and probably be sitting in a corner crying, not wondering, not wor like wondering what the heck would have happened differently if I just allowed others to come into my life. And what I
Yeah.
love about your story is that you let that come to you. And then when just feeling, going through the emotions of what you were going through, the loss and the transformation that was leading you to the transformation, every healing, I believe, leads you to that transformation. And that's where it led you to that peace and love and tranquility is what I want to say. Tranquility. Yeah. It's like this, and I love that because it really resonates with your story and everything that you've gone through. So this is a part of, I would love to say, is the healing part where nobody talks about.
Hmm.
So here's the voices of the soul. This is how our soul connects. It goes you describe receiving guidance from the unborn child in your story. Your
Hmm.
unborn child, the feather, and experiencing an extraordinary healing. So can you talk about how connecting with the voices of the soul and intuition has shaped your personal and coaching journey?
Thank you. That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
So I go back to in the story, I describe how I had a healer friend who was with me through several points of this pregnancy journey.
Mhm.
Um, and right at the night that I found out, no, not the night I found out, the night after the actual miscarriage took place. Because I found out before actually experiencing the like loss, physical loss from my body. But right after the physical loss had taken place, less than 24 hours, I was at this friend's office, and she is a healer of sorts, craniosacral therapy, but way, way beyond and deeper than that. And so while I was there, I just went into this amazingly deep, like pool of light and healing energy. It was this beautiful meditative space that just sort of washed over me. And as soon as I was in that space, the question was asked by my healer friend, um, is there anything that your unborn child wants to say to you? And instantly, I had an image of this girl, this 19-ish year old girl who was obviously my daughter. I could feel it, and I just wanted to embrace her. And she came to me and said, "Mom, you have to let me go." And it was her actually encouraging me to let go. And just, I was being flooded with all of this like download that she was never supposed to actually make it all the way, that she's here for a different purpose, and that it was preparing me for what was to come next, which I don't even know what it was, but I knew I didn't need to know. And as I was going through that, I felt this incredible transformation happen within my body. There's a little bit more detail about the ABC of how that took place in the actual story, but this massive amount of light just came all the way through my crown and down through all of my energy centers and pushed like this blockage out from my solar plexus. And suddenly my womb space was completely filled with light, and I felt a physical and quantum like flipping over of all the cells. It was like something unlocked. And I consider it to be a full-blown divine angelic healing. And this, I, it's not because of who I was with or anything like that. It was because we co-created a channel
Mhm.
for God to come straight through and heal. And every single moment leading up to that was what facilitated the healing. And this is why I say I haven't lost anything. I experienced a loss in the human part of myself, but I was given so much grace, so much healing, so much light, and it prepared me for what was next. And we now know, spoiler alert, but I have a beautiful baby boy in my arms. And I don't think that he would have been able to make it if I hadn't gone through that healing. She came to prepare me to carry him.
Mm.
She
Yeah.
came to pave the way for his light to actually come through. And of course, I go into my intuitive knowings about why that needed to happen, based on previous things in my life. The experience of it was nothing like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I've had some wildly profound moments before, but this tops them. This tops them. And as I keep coming back to, it wouldn't have been possible if I had closed myself off from the pain.
That's incredible.
The
Just,
healing was in the pain.
mm, yeah. No, just tears running out,
Mm.
tears running down my face when you're talking about how you actually imagined or you saw this 19-year-old girl coming to you and letting go. I always believe that when you have a loss, any kind of loss in your life, it is teaching you something, definitely teaching you something. It's coming there to bring something to you or to teach you something or to bring you some transformation. For you, it was really the healing part. It was to heal you in certain ways so you can allow your son to come to you. It was healing you to really figure out another way of life, to find this love that you probably never had
Mm.
in your life that you now have in such a deep personal way that now you even have your son in there. And think about how that actually works. If you think about it, sometimes we look at a loss saying, oh, I lost a child and make it into such a big deal out of it. But when you actually look at it as a healing or allowing them to know that they only came into your life for that certain time and it was only to teach you a lesson or to bring a lesson to you or to heal you in some ways, how much of a blessing is that itself?
It is so much of a blessing.
Yeah.
And I want to be aware too, when I speak about it, that somebody who's going through a loss doesn't want to hear that.
No,
If
no, of
somebody
course.
else had come to me and been like, everything happens for a reason, I would have been a
Right.
big no.
No. Yeah.
Or maybe I wouldn't in this experience, but in a different part of my life, I might have. And so I do want to be very careful of not just going into that everything happens for a reason place
Yeah.
with people who are going through loss, because like, what reason could this possibly have?
Mm,
There's because we have to be able like allow the space for all of the other stages of grief to be taking place. And
yeah.
now, yes, there's anger, and I went through the anger, even with the peace being there. I went through the anger, I went through the denial, I went through all of the pieces. Um, and I really had to come to this realization through my own experience, through my own journey, and my
Mm,
direct experience of divinity coming through me to me in a much deeper part of myself than the part that would have been hearing somebody else just tell me, oh, well, look for the gifts. I'm like, I'm losing a baby. Don't tell me to
yeah.
look for the gifts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the gifts were just like piling up and
Yeah.
showing themselves to me.
Mm.
So.
So just seeing your story, I just want you to know, I know the feeling of that because when I had a loss and someone says, oh, these things happen for a reason, I didn't want to hear that either.
Mhm.
In my, when I was there, I was like, well, that's great to know. I don't know what the reason is. No one's able to tell me the reason. So I don't understand why there's a reason or what's wrong with my body is what I would ask. What's wrong
Mm,
with my body? What did I do to myself? Was it my vigorous exercises? Was it my diet that I was on? What was it? What led me to this? Because I'm fine. So what happened? Not realizing that this can be a whole new, different situation and everyone's going through it in a different way. It took me years as well. And so anyone in that situation, it can take years and years and years before they finally sit down and really go back to that moment and say, what really happened? How did this happen? What was the lesson that was taught? Sometimes these lessons don't come to you right away. So just
mm,
to thank you for saying that, everyone that's listening here, can actually understand that these things come to you after, but to allow yourself to feel it, allow
mhm.
yourself to go through it, the emotions, the anger, the upset, the crying, whatever it is that you're going through, go through that, because those are the moments that are going to allow you to go to the next step. Because if you don't have that and you suppress yourself with all those emotions, you're not going to be able to move on from there, nor will you be able to go and figure out how to heal that place, like that
Mm.
place. So I'm really glad that you said that and brought that up, because that is very true.
And it brings to, just before we move on to the next question, it brings me to the importance of actually sharing the story, because even in the moment that I was going through it, and I shared with the other moms in the homeschool group, um, several of them thanked me profusely from the bottom of their hearts for sharing while I was going through it, because it allowed them, they had experienced loss in the
Mhm.
past, but they had done it completely alone without reaching out, because there's this societal belief that we're not supposed to talk about these things. It makes other people uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And the truth is, when there's real, actual compassion happening, it's not, it doesn't matter if the other person feels uncomfortable. Obviously, they're going to feel the pain of what you're going through if you share that you're going through something that
Mhm.
difficult. But when there's real, true compassion going on, then they're not going to be like, oh, I didn't want to hear about that.
Mhm.
They're going to just show up with love and be like, oh, wow, I'm here with you. Like, whatever's going on, I love you and you will move through this. And so I had more than one person come to me and say, thank you so, so
Mhm.
much for just being raw and being real with what you're going through right now, because it's actually allowing me to write a new script for what I went through when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, it's like it's never too late. It's never too late to walk through the opening to the gifts. It's never too late to face the pain. We can always do it, and there's always people who are willing to support.
Yes, yes, there's always people around there. There's always going to be someone there. So don't let them just pass by. Always know you can ask for help. Always know that there's always others that are going to be there with you, and bring this community of love to you. That's really important. I think that's great that you actually read your story before Be Light to Raise Light was out. Yay. But that's awesome, because this is going to show you your community, the people that are around you. When you read these stories, this is your heart love story of who you are and what's going on with you, that can help others and others and others in that story. So talk about it, share it, feel it, and let others be there for you. And those that don't want to listen to it, I always say, those that don't want to listen to it, it was never meant for them anyways. It's only meant for those that are ready to hear it and feel it. That is how a story should be told, and
Mhm.
from your heart. Yes. Thank you. You speak about loss not as an ending, which is great, but as a transformation into something larger and more luminous. What has Feather's presence taught you about motherhood, love, and the cycles of love?
Hmm. So much peace came with Feather. My Earth side children have the biggest feelings I think ever to exist on this planet. And I'm sure many moms would say the same about their own
Mhm.
children. But there are some huge torrential storms of emotion that go on around here. I was struggling prior to carrying Feather. I was struggling to hold space for my children's emotions, for the wild storms that would unfold without getting triggered myself, because they're huge feelings would mirror my own huge feelings from when I was little. And in any of the ways that I wasn't supported the way that I needed to be, and I mean, absolute much love to my parents, and they were already cycle breakers and healing generational traumas in their own ways. And yet, there's still going to be parts in every inner child that didn't get exactly what they needed. So my own inner child was getting constantly triggered and poked at by being witness to my own children's wild emotions. And I was struggling to be able to just peacefully be the calm in the center of their
Mhm.
storm. And as soon as Feather came into my field, that shifted completely.
Mhm.
And the whole time that I was physically pregnant with her, I was just in this place of profound peace. And those two words together have a lot of meaning for me now. I mean, it's the title of this chapter and mentioned many times through that while I was carrying her, but also what she left me with afterwards, is this ability to be the calm in the storm, to just sit in profound peace while there's chaos unfolding all around me and everybody's triggering everybody else. And whether it's out in the world and whatever goes on the world stage, which is pretty chaotic as we speak, or whether it's right in my own home, that I can now be present and observe and offer love without going into my own wounding. I might be aware that something of mine is being poked at, but it doesn't like wake up the dragon, so to speak. And I'm much more able to come back to whatever. I'll have an awareness. I'm like, oh, this one's difficult for me, and then I'll be able to come back to it later when I'm in my own space and able to put my focus on my own inner child. So Feather has offered me the ability, the capacity to parent my children from a place of peace and deep, deep love, and still be able to go back and parent my own inner child, reparent my own inner child without having to try to do both of them at the same time.
Mm, yeah. What a gift Feather was. What a
Mhm.
gift she
So
was in
much.
your life. The fact that, she was able to help you with so much more depth into your heart, into your love, into your soul. Every movement, every source, every piece that you've gone through, it's just a blessing to be able to have that, to be able to go through that, and to be able to see through that. That itself is so beautiful. And thank you for sharing that because that is so profound for everyone to listen to. I think something so small, something so beautiful like that has really brought magic into your life,
It
that
has.
peace. I want you to read an excerpt if that's okay. Your story is so moving and illuminating. Would you share a powerful excerpt from your chapter that transforms to a profound peace you experience?
Yeah, the part that I chose was from the part where I talk about how important it is to me to teach my children how to grieve properly,
Mhm.
and to teach all our children how to grieve properly. And what it means to grieve properly, quote
Mhm.
unquote,
Yeah.
might sound different for different people. And I'm proposing a complete paradigm shift in how we grieve. So you could go to like a how to grieve properly website or course, and it's not going to tell you what I'm what I'm talking about
Yeah.
here.
This is yours.
And so I'm just I've printed it out, so I'll be looking down here for a second to read. Um, it felt to me like the dominant grief programming of our culture was missing so much. Commonplace expressions like "I'm sorry for your loss" felt vapid and lifeless to me in the wake of my transcendent journey. I didn't feel sorry for my loss. There was nothing to be sorry for. I was deeply grateful for every piece of the puzzle, every moment of struggle. I hadn't suffered a loss. I had gained more than life could ever take away. I was whole, more whole than I had felt in 5 years or perhaps ever. Humans have been grieving from a one-dimensional perspective that is old, heavy, and incomplete. Grief is as due for alchemy and evolution as any other dense human energy is. When we are only focused on loss and pain, we avoid feeling the anguish fully, but we get stuck in those things and never find out what is on the other side. By leaning into the whole experience, moving through the heaviness, the remaining space can be filled with an abundance of magnificent gifts. In any birth or death, we gain access to levels of connection that are less visible to us in the din of mundane life. Trivial matters fade, and we find opportunity for raw togetherness. Masks off, facades irrelevant. We truly see each other, not our ego identities. With this authentic vulnerability, we remember how to love unconditionally and be truly present. Let us grieve in a way that earnestly asks, what is this loss bringing to me? Why does my soul contract include this experience? Let us embark upon a true exploration of higher purpose. The veil is also not a barrier between worlds. It only represents perception. Nobody's essence is ever gone. We always have access to it. Their physical presence has changed form, but they are still right there. Even in this earthly realm, there is only light, vibrating at different frequencies and being perceived in different ways. There is no loss. There are cycles. No cycle ends without a new one birthing. Our task is to find the magic of what is birthing. And this is what I want my children to understand about loss.
That is so beautiful. Those are chills all over me. What a profound way of talking about loss, but also learning about what you've learned and things that have brought to you other than just loss. That is so beautiful. I just love that you read that out so beautifully with courage and love, knowing that this is not just a loss. This is a whole new profound way of just bringing in more peace and love into your life. It is a completely different way of just realizing anything. That's a really good way of reading it through any loss. Really, for anyone that's going through any kind of loss, it doesn't have to be a baby loss. It could be a loss in the family. That
Yeah.
could be something that they could read out to.
Anything, the
Yeah.
ending of a job, I mean, I say here that the trivialities of life become way less important when you let yourself immerse yourself in it fully. But it could be about something that we see as the sort of day-to-day life stuff. It doesn't have to be a person or a pet. It can be the end of a career chapter. If we just really lean in fully to every single transition in our lives,
Yeah.
then we can find the alchemy in it. And that's what allows the rebirth. It's not just looking for a new job. It's who am I now?
Wow. Look at you go. I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy that you're here for those voices of those people that are going through that. And I'm so
Thank you.
happy that you're able to talk to them and feel them and know that, you're not alone. There were probably so many others that are going through the same thing, but you're able to go beyond that and be able to help others. A lot of moms, a lot of families to go through the same thing. So thank you for doing the beacon of them. Thank you for being the love and the beacon of love for them too as well.
Thank you.
So everyone that's listening here, Sarah, for those listening who may be navigating grief, loss, or deep life transitions, how can they connect with you and your work and find you or, just even just follow you? How would they be able to do that?
So I am on Facebook and Instagram. I haven't been
Mhm.
super busy because obviously I'm homeschooling too and have a new baby. So I haven't been super on my socials a lot, but I can be followed and you can look at what I've posted in the past on Facebook and Instagram. And both of those are at Sarah Grace Soulbirth, all one word, Sarah Grace, Sarah with an H,
Mhm.
Grace Soulbirth. My website is www.soul-birth.com, and that is the best place to read about the transformational work that I do with clients. And you mentioned before, I had said inner light and self-love coach, but that's actually shifted since this journey and since writing the chapter. It has come very clear to me that my place really is in working with people who are in these deep transitions of life.
Mhm.
Like you said, whether it's loss or grief, or anything where one chapter is closing and a new chapter is
Mhm.
beginning, and really being able to build that bridge with grace. And even those like sacred left turns where you realize, oh my gosh, everything about my life is wrong. And it's like, I'm scrapping it and pivoting and going to start a whole new life. Like this is my happy place where I want to
Mhm.
be working with people. So
Yeah.
anybody who feels like they're at this place, give me a call because this is where I get super juiced up and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's move through this
Yeah.
and find your inner voice and find your light and where it's really pointing you so that you're the one having the tingles that are leading you in a direction that you don't even know what it is, but it's just like, oh, I'm getting the call. I'm following it now.
Mhm.
I want to walk you through that.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I'm so happy. I'm glad that you're doing something and actually shifted your work to something that's more relevant to you and to
Yes,
what you're doing. I love that too. I wish you had told me earlier. We could have definitely done some, trying to put something together. But
it's okay.
yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good because on a podcast like this, anyone that's listening can actually know, okay, so this is what she does. She does help out with that. But you can follow her. You can read her on the website too as well. And I will add all of this to the description below. So you have
Awesome.
that and you're able to see, what she's doing and, follow her all the way down, see how you can actually connect with her. So thank you again, Sarah. Thank you again so much for being here. You're such a light, such a beautiful voice for so many people. I'm so happy you're able to be with us today and share who you are. So let's to all who are listening here, may Sarah's journey remind you that in your darkest moments, there is always a light waiting to be revealed. Let us honor our own stories, our own losses, and our own rebirths, knowing that together we rise until next time. So keep being light and keep raising light. Thank you. Be Light to Raise Light is a sacred and extraordinary platform where mothers are invited to shine brilliantly and share their unique stories with the world. Through books, stages, social gatherings, and more, we elevate these voices to the highest vibration, illuminating not only their personal journeys, but the collective consciousness of the world. Our vision is to create a radiant community of mothers who come together to inspire, empower, and light up the world with their truth and wisdom. Be Light to Raise Light is a space where authenticity thrives, stories resonate, and every woman's light is celebrated. Join us in this beautiful mission by becoming part of our community. Follow us on Facebook at Be Light to Raise Light, or on Instagram at Be Light to Raise Light, or connect with us directly by email at inspire@belighttoraiselight.com. Together, let's ignite a movement of light, love, and transformation.